So I'm cutting flowers for a lovely, sorry about the chairs upside down in the background. I'm cutting flowers for a lovely country wedding. It's going to be in a vineyard down near the coast in Dorset. And I've started early cutting and I've got about 1,000 stems altogether. Some of them I cut yesterday. It's Thursday today. I've got various other bits and pieces I've got to do. So I'm getting as much done as I can. And then I have other work I have to do. And then tomorrow, Friday, I will create the flowers. Saturday, we'll install them. And I hope to take you along. So come along for the ride. It should be fun, I think. Anyway, we'll see. Well, if you're new to the channel, I'm a flower farmer and florist based between fashionable Bruton and up-and-coming Wincanton in sunny Somerset. And what I do is grow, cut and arrange flowers for my clients. So here's my pink wedding coming along. Pink and white with lots of foliage. I haven't cut the roses or the foliage yet. So if you like this kind of thing, plus we're cheerful and occasionally we have googie, which is a whole nother story. Anyway, if you like this kind of thing, do subscribe. Press the bell icon and we'll tell you when we've got more clips coming up. And if any of the tips and tricks we give you along the way are useful, you can always buy me a coffee, or better still, join my club. What are they called? Things that you press to join the club and buy coffees. The link, that's the word, are in the blurbs to all my clips. Right, come on. Time is of the essence. We never have any time here. Always in a hurry. But still, nice looking wedding coming on. So the end of day one of prep. Most of the flowers are here. A few more just come in from the field up here. Nice chunk of lime foliage over there. All the necessary containers and so on prepped here. No floral foam. They're going to be great, big, enormous displays, but I hope very attractive. Lots of jam jars for the tables, bridesmaids, bride, buttonholes. And time for this rather hot-looking lady to go, as in damp, to go and get changed because it's school play. Mustn't forget the important stuff. Right, so it's Friday morning, we're all ready to go. I just want to make a comment about my roses. My roses have been grown in a field, harvested by me in a hot summer's day. I've done it as cool as I can, but nevertheless, some of them will probably shed. And I don't mind this because they've not been treated with anything which will stop them moving. There's no silver nitrate treatment here to stop my flowers going over. They will do what they want to do. If you want perfect, unmoving, unscented roses, which have been massively treated with silver nitrate in order to stop them going over, by all means, you can find those roses easily enough. People come to me for my roses, not because they are after the perfect looking rose. They come to me for my roses because they're after the perfect rose. They want reality. They want the full Dutch 17th century still life, which includes occasionally shedding petals. I will be keeping an eye out for shedding petals all day, and I have here the fresh confetti basket, which will slowly be filled up. At the end of the day, I will go up the field and I will deadhead into it as well, so that I've got lots and lots of fresh confetti. I'm going to scatter some down the aisles tomorrow, and some will be for throwing over the happy couple when they have been married. The roses I've cut shouldn't be massively sheddy, but if they do, it is real. And the scent from them is what my client is looking for. They've come for real flowers that really move, that have not been treated with anything to stop them moving. That's really, I think it's a really, really important thing. And I think increasingly when people are married, they don't want the party to literally cost the earth. So the fewer chemicals involved, the fewer flower miles, all of these matter. It's not just a marketing thing. It really matters that the flowers don't cost the earth. And luckily for me, my customers really care that none of these flowers have been treated with any flower preserving chemicals. All the water in the buckets will go back onto the flower fields to water the plants afterwards. There will be a limited amount of waste. Yes, I will put everything in the car and drive it to the venue. So maybe, at some point, as I get increasingly concerned about this stuff, maybe I'll say, no, you have to walk. The weddings I do have to be walking distance. But in any case, I think it is definitely a big deal for my customers that none of these have been treated with any kind of chemicals. And there may be shedding petals, which I think are very beautiful. But anyway, I hope there won't be too many shedding petals. Right, let's get on. Enough. I'm going to start with the big arrangements. Ready, steady, go. If I can turn this thing off. So I've put all the containers quite far away from each other because I'm going to make quite big arrangements and they need space. Eventually, these, for example, this one there and its pair, which is there they are going to be either side of the bride and groom getting married. So I need to make them tall enough and wow factor enough, which is why I put them quite far away so that I can see them. And that's why I'm doing them on the ground, so I can see what they're going to look like. And then the other three there, those three are going to go next door to each other at the entrance to the ceremony. And then everything's going to get picked up and moved to the marquee. So it's got to be sort of multi-purpose. Think. And it's all, as is always the way, I'm going to start with the foliage. I'm not going to do a slow release film thing this time because they're too far apart, but I'll just show you each stage as I go. So I'm going to start with the foliage. Off we go. So we're starting with broadleaf lime, which is such a beautiful colour. There's a tiny bit of rust in it, which lifts what otherwise can be a bit green, flat green. Plus also look at the shapes, heart-shaped leaves and the shadows they throw. Very keen. And the next ingredient for greening up is dock, which is a pernicious wild weed, much loathed by gardeners. And as you can see, it is structural, tall, thrilling, has wonderful rust in it. And if you want a wild looking arrangement at the end of June, look no further than the humble dock in flower. I absolutely love it. And of course, the patron saint of my kind of floristry, the marvellous Constance Spry, was a keen user of dock. So who am I to argue with Constance Spry over dock? After all, this wedding is happening in a vineyard in the Dorset countryside, and there will be dock, there will be wild edges. And what I like with floristry is to kind of, not only, I like to make it look as though the garden has exploded into the countryside and the countryside has exploded back into the garden. And using the lovely structural dock really helps with that. So having given them a nice green base, I've started adding a bit of colour with these glorious campanula, which are tall and statuesque and stunning, and a great pink. So these luxurious pots of pink and white with lots of foliage are kind of done, there will be pudging later. The light is not great. I will be taking lots of material with me to finish them off, but the bones of them are there. These two are to go either side of the ceremony, frame the lovely couple, and these three will be at the entrance to the ceremony, and then afterwards all 5 of them will be moved to the marquee. Double up, waste not, want not. Right, so having done those bigger arrangements, I'm now making the bride's bouquet, and it's enormous and it weighs rather a lot. However, I know the bride quite well, and she's got the most beautiful sort of, it's Glastonbury Festival weekend this weekend, and obviously the wedding isn't happening at Glastonbury, but she has this lovely, very clear lined satin back crepe dress made for her by her mother, who is a talented, really talented lady. Making bias cut satin back crepe into a dress is no mean feat, I can tell you that. So she has this beautiful boho style, sort of quite 70s dress in this beautiful satin. And so often I say to people, you know, what's your dress like? And they go, oh, I don't want to show you. And I say, do you know what? It would really help, because I don't need to make a bouquet that's going to fight with the dress. So my lovely bride is wearing this beautiful sweep of cream satin back crepe, and it's got lots of movement to it. She's got beautiful sleeves, it's got a lovely full skirt, but it's all bias cut. So it's going to sweep around, it's going to have gorgeous movement. So she can get away with something enormous like this. It's absolutely enormous. But Lucinda, I hope you love it, because I absolutely love it. And it's really worth always make it and then pretend you're having that photograph. In their case, it's going to be in the vineyard, between the vines, I expect, with the sun, you know, golden sunlight in the distance. So you've got to see how it's going to look. It's got to have plenty of movement. It's got plenty of movement. It's scent. This is just a barking mad bouquet. But anyway, Lucinda, I hope you love it. So I'm going to pop it in water and make the bridesmaids, and then I can start motoring through the jam jar posies. But you know, I must just snip the stems off. I'm not asking her to walk down the aisle with the stems like this. And the stems will be re-snipped before I give it her. So it'll go in water now to have a nice drink. But so she can carry it this way. Here comes the bride. She can carry it this way. Here comes the bride. She can carry it this way. Here comes the bride. She can, you know, it's a multi-purpose, multi-action bouquet. It's really, really important to try a bouquet on, maybe not on the bride herself, you may not see her, but just, you know, work a bouquet. Just make sure it works all right. Personally, I don't know about you, but I quite like that. Right, put it in water and stop talking. I've got bridesmaids to make, and you seem to be falling over. Anyway, there you go. One more. Oh, yes. And then we have very sweet little bridesmaids posies. Dinky. You don't want too much. Bridesmaids have got quite a lot to do, lots of work. So just have a little posy to carry, and I think it's about 20 stems. Sweet, sweet. Anyway, better make some more. Right, 5 little posies for the bridesmaids. I'm going to leave the buttonholes till last. I'm now going to do 24 jam jar posies, 6 for each table, 3 long tables, I think. No, I'm going to have to do the maths to make sure I'm right. 4 long tables, 6 4s are 24. Maths! Right, it's 6 o'clock exactly, and I've made the buttonholes. Sweet, very sweet. Did I say it myself? All I have to do now is check the water levels of everything. It's warm. It's not hot for America, but for the UK, it is 24 degrees Celsius in the 23 degrees in the studio Celsius, which is about nearly 75 Fahrenheit. So warm in here, and I don't have any refrigeration. It's not my line. So what I've got to do is just quickly top up all the water levels of everything that I've made today, because they're thirsty, they'll drink. And then I'm going to use the leftover roses to make confetti. And I'll make up the field and get a little more confetti, and then call it a day. Start again at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. So it's been glorious hot weather. So the roses are absolutely ripe for a deadhead. If you're going to deadhead to make fresh petal confetti, it's really worth snipping the rose off. Don't just pull the petals off, because then you're actually deadheading while you make the confetti. And a few dark petals give the whole look, depth of field. It's a very calming thing to do. It doesn't take very long. Have a little mooch along. Right, 7:30, and I think that's plenty. There's something like, I think there are 160 guests at this wedding. You don't need 160 guests worth of confetti. What you need is a pinch each for the 20 or 30 people who are close enough at confetti throwing time to be able to toss a little. So that's enough. And I'm going to carry it low down because I don't want the wind to catch it. It's lovely to cut it now. It's been a very hot, dry day, and so it's perfectly dry. Sometimes if I'm doing this in the morning, then the confetti's a little damp from the dew. Usually I do it in the morning, but we've had a very hot, dry day. We've had very hot, dry weather. I would like some rain, please. And so this is the perfect time of day to be harvesting fresh petal confetti for lovely Lucinda tomorrow. Right, time for supper. Enough. Call it a day. Then, just before bed, as you're looking up, give them all a quick spritz to keep them fresh. Next morning, first job, refresh the water in all the posies. As I said, these are country flowers which have not been treated with any chemicals, and it's 30 degrees. So the way to keep them fresh water. Snip the stems so the drinking cells are open, and they'll stay looking that lovely all day. I too will be looking lovely all day. At some point I will brush my hair and put on a clean dress if I remember to take it with me. It's always quite hard being a guest and doing a wedding at the same time. Right, that's most of it in the van. Notice the empty buckets used as spacers to stop things rocking and falling over. And the upside down boxes to do the same. Good idea from Fabrizio. Wrap up the fresh petal confetti because we are going to a venue near the sea. Might be very windy. And I think the idea is that this is all thrown at a sort of photo opportunity on a bridge. So we can leave it wrapped up and then it can be unwrapped at the last minute. So there's most of it. So here we are at this gorgeous venue called the English Oak Vineyard. and they grow really delicious, world-class, famous wine. And my lovely bride is going to walk through here, and she's going to turn the corner here, and she's going to walk up here. Look, it's gorgeous. It's got beautiful art hanging, textile art, and lovely things. And my bride will turn around the corner, more beautiful art. And then here is the aisle. I have to say, those posies worked a treat, didn't they? Lovely jam jar posies for the pew ends, and they're going to be the table centres afterwards. And then we've put, in the end, all of those large arrangements are tucked in the end here for the ceremony. The bride and groom sit here, a little few extra petals scattered for effect. I'm quite pleased with that. And this vineyard is the antithesis of what I call a wedding factory venue. Sometimes you get places where they have 2 or 3 weddings a week and they're pushing people through and you can't get in till 10 and everything's got to be gone by midnight, and you get the bride running around in her wedding dress trying to finish everything off when she's, at the end of the day. It's just exhausting. So what I like about this place is they only do maybe 15 a year, and often they're very small. And they have this lovely venue, lovely room for the ceremonies, and then they've got a marquee down the field next to the vines. It's so pretty. I think small is beautiful at all times. You know how I feel about these things. It's really, really lovely venue. It is a lovely day too. So congratulations, Lucinda and Jono. I hope you have a fantastic day. It's very pretty, very country, very Dorset, in a good way. And then afterwards, all the flowers that are in here will be picked up and carried down to dress the marquee. Waste not, want not.
They were going out at 4 o'clock over the time.
Sorry, ladies and gents, we have to ask you to...
And then the next day, you come along to clear it all up again. But look how lovely this venue is. There is the vineyard. So you get married in the vines. I mean, it is lovely, and it's got this gorgeous spot at the end for sitting out, a situtery. But what a lovely day. Yes, look, imagine you get married here, you come round this corner, come round the corner, there are the vineyard. I mean, it's just lovely, isn't it? And you can imagine how lovely it looked yesterday. Obviously, I didn't film it. And then there's the marquee. Gorgeous. So when you book wedding flowers, it's really important to know that part of the price, if you're booking the whole service, will be the florist and their helpers coming to the get out on Sunday. They need to A, collect all the things, B, take them home, C, compost the material, D, wash it all up, tidy it all up, reset the studio and get ready to do the next one. So one of the reasons wedding flowers are quite expensive is that time on Sunday morning. My husband and I are both here. We've driven an hour. There are two vehicles. There's quite a lot of stuff. it's worth thinking about this stuff, and that's why wedding flowers are not just randomly expensive. They are expensive because there's a lot of time and energy goes into it, into the clearing up too. Anyway, here we are taking everything down, starting again. But you can imagine how lovely it was yesterday with everybody milling about, drinking the delicious fizzy wine that they grow here. And there we are. And given that the flowers stood here in 40-degree heat all day yesterday, I think they've held up really, really well. It's amazing. It wasn't 40 degrees, but it was definitely 30 Celsius. And that's a good idea, that little arch. Anyway, we're going to clear it all up and take it home. Despite the heat, the flowers have held up really well, especially the roses. So we're just going through them, and people are going to keep some, the ones that are not dead. They're going to go on and have another life elsewhere. Right, time to get on with the clearing up. As you can see, there are portaloos, there's a kitchen tent, all the marquee needs taking down, lots and lots to put away. But what a wonderful day yesterday, and I hope everybody's had a really, really lovely time. And I hope you've enjoyed the clip, and I'll see you very soon. Bye. I love this. Look, they're tucking the finished flowers into the back of the Land Rover, which was the going away vehicle yesterday.